How's it going, everybody? DJ K DuB Omaha, Wired Axcess podcast with the All Axcess Granted.
I didn't want that to be the standard. I didn't want someone else in the room to set the standard. I always wanted to do that.
The journey to get there, I think, is something, that is amazing, Nick.
Let's get this podcast started.
That's right. It is DJ K DuB Omaha, and you're on Wired Axcess, All Axcess Granted. We greatly appreciate those who continue to follow, like, share, and really check out what we do here when we interview these athletes. We're talking to at least high school athletes who have recruited, as we don't want to interrupt that important process. Like I know people have said, why haven't you talked to so-and-so? Why haven't you talked to so-and-so? I always like the kids to get to where they are making those big decisions and not interrupt those because it's very stressful. Then, of course, we talk to some college athletes, pro athletes. We're going to have them all. But today we have Husker commit baseball player Charlie Ziola from Creighton Prep. And for those who follow, this is the fourth Ziola that I get to interview. And welcome to the show, Charlie.
Thank you for having me.
Man, first of all, if I don't ask this, I don't think I'm going to do the Ziola family justice. And what I mean by that is, what's the rivalry really between Creighton Prep and Scott and making those decisions? Like when this decision came for you guys, what was it like? Because everybody would think you guys are going to go do the same, go the same, but you wanted to be you and they got to be themselves out at Scott. What was that like for you?
It was really interesting. I don't think there's any rivalry between those two. But the reason why I chose prep was I shadowed it when I was in 7th grade, and I really liked it. I really liked the environment. I really liked the social aspect of the school. Plus, all boys school, that was really interesting to me, and I wanted to see what it's like. Also, my dad was coaching baseball there at the time, so it was also a great opportunity to go play for him again. So that was kind of, and also I wanted to go play Class A while they're down in Class B. So that's kind of the main reasons why I chose it. But no, I don't think there's any rivalry or any. I always liked those guys at Scott. So
Not in a bad way. Come on, man. I'm just saying, going whether you're going to go to one Catholic school or another. Of course, like you said, Class A, Class B, but your baseball started a long time ago. When you think of that part for yourself, when do you remember going from playing baseball and loving baseball for yourself?
I'd say so. I started playing baseball when I was like around 7. Broke my leg in playing, so I kind of was out of it for a little bit. And then around that time, my dad started training a bunch of seniors in high schools, teach them how to throw. And being around that, I really started to fall in love with it. I didn't want to do anything else. I just wanted to be around those guys and just throw and hit. That's all I really wanted to do.
Now, when you remember those first years and those years of what you're starting to love to do, what was it about it? Was it just the fact of you get to hang around some older guys? Because I tell you, dads can be influenceable for you. They could be a good influence. But I know sometimes when you see some senior player and you're like, man, I can look up to that player and one day I could be that player. And it just changes your mindset when you see athletes that are kind of doing what you're doing. And that's the level you want to get to just to, kind of think about it. Was that kind of your thoughts when you were growing up?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely looked up to a lot of those guys. So being able to be where they're at today is really groundbreaking, and it helped me mature as a player and also as a person.
When you get to travel ball, what's your first reluctant thing that you remember from travel ball? Was it the traveling? Was it the players that you play with? Was it the games? What was some of your early memories of travel ball outside of Omaha?
I think the traveling was a real big aspect of it. Going out there, when we were younger, going out to Iowa and Kansas City, playing those other Midwestern teams. And then we got a little older, going down to those big tournaments down in Florida or Georgia, and just seeing the competition, see where you're really at, see if I'm what I need to work on, what I need to get better at. So I think travel ball was really a key factor into a lot of improvement.
Of course, you look, prior to high school, what was the highest level that you guys got to? What was the furthest that you traveled? Did you guys do a lot of majors all the way up until you got to high school for you?
Yeah, I played majors from when I was 8 to 14, so I was always seeing at least the best competition in Nebraska.
Now, I know around here, because when they decide to do state for the AAA and the majors, and they try to do state for you guys younger, they try to do it, and then there's some good tournaments that are outside of the city that people go partake. Did you guys always play in the state tournament when it came to your baseball, or were you guys towards the 7th and 8th grade looking outside during that time and trying to get outside of the state?
No, we always played in the state tournament when it came down to it. That was always a really big accomplishment to go play in that and go do well in that and hopefully try and win it. So, but that was always a big goal of ours was to win it and try and be successful.
Of course, you learned baseball at a young age. What was the position that you loved maybe at a younger age that you can't do it now because you're better at other things? Is there any of that for you?
I was kind of restricted because I'm left-handed, so I could only play the outfield and first base and pitch. So I really enjoyed first base when I was really younger, but I think now the outfield is where I belong. I think that's something really where I love to be. I love tracking down fly balls and I love throwing from the outfield.
Of course, most left-handers, like you said, they try to turn you into all-time pitchers, or what was your pitching experience all the way up through until high school?
I was actually pretty good. I was pretty crafty. I had a lot of good off speed. I mostly got outs, but I would go against those really a lot of those tougher competition teams and be pretty successful, or at least give them a good attempt at trying to win.
When you look at your teams prior to high school and you think of those players that you got to play with, who's some of the local athletes that you got to play with that, because you guys might have went to different schools after 8th grade, you at least know where they're at. They're kind of on some of the similar paths, because what I love about some travel ball is there is a group of some people or kids that can move on, and they're all developing even when they go separate ways. But it doesn't always happen. How did that go with your teams growing up?
So one of the guys that I still see today and I still train with is Tanner Evans. We only played 1 year. We only played 1 year of travel. We played actually no 2 years together of travel ball, and I still see him and still talk to him. It's good to see him develop and grow as a player because he's really good. Another guy was a guy from Iowa named Garrett Lutt. He's I think he was one of the top. He was probably he's top 3 best player in Iowa. That he also helped me grow as a player. Um, that's about it. Those are probably the 2 main guys I would say from my
Well, I
14
mean,
from
we
my
at least
teams.
had one of them. We had Tanner on an episode earlier this year, so it was good to share his story. Of course, obviously, we talked about his dad and doing the bats, and kind of just how, like you said, your dad's a coach. Do you remember growing up with your dad as the coach, and things are going? What's some of the things that you loved about pre high school with your dad being a coach for you, and some things that you remember were the good times for it?
I think definitely always have him be as my behind my back, always being for there. Either helping me with my swing or helping me with a certain pitch. He was always there for me, and definitely a good leader, good role model to be inspired for. So always glad to have him around, and always I'm so thankful that he was able to coach me throughout those years.
Of course, many people, they talk about a coach's kid. How do you feel like it was different for you, or how was that experience for you, where sometimes not all teammates understand how it is to be that kid? Sometimes
Uh,
you're higher standards.
I'd say I got the opposite of the coach's kid. I thought I got yelled at and treated harshly more than the other kids because they wanted that role for me.
Well, it's always good when, you guys can have that understanding, because it is one of the hardest things to do is a father-son duo. When you think back to your guys' success at that level, what's the furthest you guys went? How's the best that you guys finished in a year?
We got state and travel ball. We got runner up twice in state. We got have a 13 14 U. Um, yeah, those were 2 really good seasons.
Did you guys have any opportunities? Where was the coolest place playing outside of Nebraska for you guys? I know some teams would go down to Branson. Some teams got the Coopertown visit. What's something that you remember from that age?
Um, we mostly went to out in Marion, Iowa. That's always a good spot to go to. Those PG fields they're sick. It's a long drive though. That was the only like setback, but it was still fun to play against those Iowa teams, those Kansas teams, those teams from Minnesota. So always a good experience.
When you look at, of course, getting into high school, what do you think is the biggest change that you had to do going in your freshman year?
Definitely just adjusting and looking at development differently. I'd say probably like breaking down everything and seeing what I need to get better at in specific places and not just from a broader perspective.
When you say development, what was some things that you did before high school, whether it was extra batting practices, extra sessions for yourself? And what's some things that you've added since that you really take advantage of now? Because, everybody could go through the motions, they could go through the routine, but something turns in you to get you to be that D1 athlete that you are.
I would say just taking advantage of time, being able to get if you have a certain amount of time, getting done with everything. I've really been focusing on mobility and stretching, while also making sure my whole body's straight, so I don't have to deal with injuries, or if something isn't right, I'll make sure to go recover. Definitely not just like brush over it and move on. Definitely focus on those little things and mostly maintain them.
It's funny. Most athletes that are looking for that 1% don't understand that a 1% could be your stretch routine. When you think of your routine of before high school and now, how long does it take you to really get yourself warmed up for what you want to do?
I really didn't really have a routine up until about last year. So I would say probably about 10 to 15 minutes was before. Now it's about like 20, 25 minutes because I really dig into those stretches, those sprints, making sure my body's warmed up, especially in the cold, because that's how you're gonna get hurt. So I really focused on that last year, and that really helped me with a lot of success.
Of course, going into your freshman year, you got things going in the right way. What's something, if you look back at freshman Charlie, that you wish you knew then that you know now, that maybe you even help your current freshman players do better than what you thought you knew back then?
High school baseball is way different than travel baseball. It's a lot more faster. Um, you're not gonna be as successful as you hope you are. There's gonna be a lot more downs and ups, but being able to understand that and move on and grow, I think, is one of the main factors of being successful.
Well,
So,
the baseball's the number one sport that you could do the most errors and still be successful. What's your way to overcome those errors that sometimes that's another part of that 1% that gets you above others, where you can reset yourself and understand that last one? When did you start grasping that in your game?
it took me a while because I used to be one of those guys who would get upset and throw their stuff, but last year I really learned that just laughing it off or moving on, that really helps you. That really makes you a better player. That really helps you move on from, oh, I just struck out in 3 pitches, to, oh, I can move on and get a hit the next at bat. Like that's one of the mindset things that really helps you grow and become from average to elite, I would say.
Now, of course, the recruiting process is different for everybody. What was it for you? How did that go for you? When did it start for you? And did you have maybe a list of what you wanted to do?
It was so mine was different. Mine was probably more different than traditional. When I was a freshman, I had a few phone calls with a few schools. I got like one or two offers, and then that rule change happened where they couldn't talk to you till August 1st. So completely silent my sophomore year. I went to futures games, did pretty decent out there, but pretty good. Had some good showcase stuff. Did good in the games. And then August 1st came, and just a boatload of phone calls boatload of offers, but not Nebraska came in first, and I was just dead set on there. That was the spot.
When you think of those perfect games and you think of the way I would say since COVID that baseball has really taken off with a lot of the extra stuff, more of putting it in the limelight, I would say. Not that that stuff didn't happen before COVID, but I just think there's more recognition, more development, more ability to be seen. What have you noticed for yourself since COVID as far as that with the perfect games, the future games, and all those opportunities to be seen if you really want to get out there? Because if you think you can sit at home or sit at just a high school and someone's going to find you, it's not always that easy.
I think it's great. I think that being able to go out there and go show off what you got is really helpful. Because, like you said, you're not going to be found anywhere if you're just sitting at home or staying locally. I think you have to go out there if you want to be seen. You have to go test yourself, go see what you are compared to everyone else out there.
Now, of course, have you had any rough outings when it came to those? And I only say this because I had Connor Capisci on the show before, and he, of course, went to one of those, and he said there's like 600 coaches. And he said his very first one, he had no coach come talk to him afterwards. And these coaches are running around talking to everybody. He had no one. It ended up putting something in his own mind to where he had to work harder. And that's when he ended up losing weight and getting in the best shape of his life to play baseball. And then by senior year, he was in the MLB draft league to possibly be drafted. What was your experience with those games? Was there anything that maybe showed you the adversity to make you be the better player that you want to be?
Yeah, definitely. I've definitely had some of those tournaments where in those big tournaments where I've gone one or no hits. And it really showed me that you have to battle through adversity. You have to battle through the pressure. And that really helped me last year. Being able to understand that there's going to be like this pressure I have on me is a gift, and no one else really has it. So I got to just be able to play with it, play free, and go out there and ball.
When you started feeling that, what was some of your experiences at these perfect games or future games for yourself when you started feeling that? Is it more of like a swagger feeling or the confidence that I can mess up, but I'm going to come right back at you?
Definitely the second one, but more high confidence, more you got me out there, but I'm gonna get you this at bat. Kind of just being able to come back stronger than what you started at.
Of course, baseball is unlike the other sports. I don't care what anybody says. It's one of the hardest sports to get to wherever you want to be. As we've seen, there's been Cade, Povich, who I interviewed when I first started this, and his route to go to community college and then come back be the Friday starter for Nebraska. But oh wait, in between there, he pitched for the Savannah Bananas, before they were a big thing. And you think of the grind to get to where they want to be, whether it's the MLB, playing at Nebraska. What's kind of been your thoughts to keep yourself in baseball with a grind of that sort?
It's just I look at examples like that, and I think I could do that. I can grind my way out of this. I can go as hard as I work. I could be able to go as far as I can go, and be very successful.
Of course, you pick up the offer from Nebraska. What do you remember about that day?
A lot. So I got my braces off that morning, and then I came home and had the phone call, and it was one of the most like exciting experiences of my life. It was crazy. They're telling me like all these great things, and I'm just starstruck and so excited. And I said yes immediately. It was one of the happiest moments of my life.
For you, what was it about Nebraska? Was it what was going positive for them? Was it the culture that they're starting to get down there? Was it just what Will Bolton and his team are looking to do? What was it that really struck you and made you think? Or was it the fact of, I'm an in-state kid, I'm a homegrown athlete, and I want to play for that N on my chest? And I say that because your close relatives said that particular thing right there of it's all about that N, that block N on their chest.
Yeah, I've heard him say that a couple of times, but I'd say definitely all of it. I think one of the things that really struck out to me was the recruiting coordinator Lance Harvell, what came out to watch me out in Atlanta, Georgia, and he's back in Arkansas the next week watching me play, and that really stuck out because they really wanted. It seemed like they really wanted me. They were really interested in me, and that really stuck out. Plus, having those two down there made it a lot easier to pick. And I think Will Bolt is one of the great coaches in college baseball.
Of course, you talked about, them coming to see you. What do you remember about that first time in front of those college coaches like that on the big stage? What was your first reaction, and how were you on your last performance that you were there? How did your confidence change to who you were able to show what you can showcase?
I was like really surprised. I'm like, wow, they're here for me, or like, whoa, they might be here for me. That's like, no way. Like, I didn't believe it. And then when it kind of just came to the end, I was more like, okay, they're here to watch me. I can do this. I'm gonna go do good.
Of course, you're a athlete that can play at any position. When you look at being that outfielder, what is it that you feel you provide that puts you just a little bit above some of the rest?
I'd say my ability to track balls. I think I can run down any fly ball out there, and I think I can cover a lot of ground and steal a bunch of hits.
Of course, still in those outs, still in those hits, and you look at your batting. Of course, you've really started putting that on. What's been your major growth in batting, and how have you been able to track the ball coming into the bat?
I would say I just said more developing a two strike approach, being able to put the bat to the ball and put it in play. If it's a base hit, if it's a ground ball, I beat it out. Just being able to put the ball in play more, being able to improve those bat to ball skills.
Of course, there's that extra practice. What does your bat regiment consist of in the off season that maybe others aren't taking advantage of?
Um, Usually it's usually just a couple maybe 10, 15 swings off the tee, depending on if I'm doing some drills or not. Maybe some flips. I'm not really into flips, but I was really mostly about either machine or BP, whatever's available. But mostly focusing on certain things, certain type of rounds. More if I'm working on how many balls I can hit on a line, or if I'm hitting the ball the other way, or pulling the ball, or taking game like reps. Those things will help me be ready for this season.
Of course, you have a location. Where do you get your extra swings in, and what's the technology that you get to use that, I think sometimes not I could say that I've seen where one slight adjustment could just change the amount of power if you just listen to who was training you to do it right. What's been kind of your thing for your bat, and where have you been going?
I've been going to Chips Performance. That's been one of the that's been I've been going there for the past almost 2 years. It's been a great place. They've really helped me grow. But mostly my dad will help me in my swing. If I'm doing something wrong, if I'm over swinging, he'll tell me something mechanical wise, and that'll really make a big difference.
Of course, Chips Performance. What's some of the things that you get to utilize with your membership there that is making it worth going there?
I would say their weight room. I got 4 racks with everything on it. Cages, tees, everything. One of the really materials that they use, I think is really cool. Is the TrackMan. Now, I think it's because they use it for live at bats, and you're able to see how hard you hit the ball, how far you hit the ball. So I think that's really cool, and will help you with your swing, seeing how if you top spin a ball, if you back spin a ball, those type of things.
Is that how you've been able to find out how to control it? I think you talked earlier about being able to hit it where you want to hit it instead of always thinking it's just swinging away. You can put the ball where you want to.
Definitely, yeah.
Now this year, of course, you got big things coming up. You got your senior season. What's the difference between you last year and this year that you're looking to overcome? You committed last August, which changes it. You already had that pressure of being a D1 athlete. People provide more pressure. If you make a mistake, it's even worse because you're a D1 athlete. What is different for you this year when it comes to those type of things?
Just learning how to play free, using that pressure as an advantage rather than a advantage. Um, and I think stepping up and being more of a leader this year rather than kind of just my own path and leading the team and helping us be able to win more games.
The leadership role, and you brought it up when you look at last year. What was, if you think of like your freshman, sophomore, and junior year, what was your role play those years for yourself that you felt you were you seeing what your role play for the team was, or was it something where now you know what your role is and you have to accomplish it?
I would say now I know that I got to step up and be a leader because every year we've had one of those guys. Last year we didn't really have like a big leader. We had a bunch of guys kind of contributing and doing things, but I think this year we got a bunch of guys that can step up and lead us to where we got to go.
Of course, playing high school ball, not everybody is always going for the D1 or bust or any even baseball beyond. How do you adjust your playing style and how you treat your teammates when it comes to those things where not everybody is out here? Yes, they want to win, but it doesn't mean they're going to put it all on the line as you try to do. How do you adjust yourself to make sure you're the right teammate for those type of people?
I really want everyone to prioritize winning, and I think if everyone has that same goal of winning and being the best team out there, I really think everyone can go places whether they're trying to play college baseball or not.
I think that's the thing that people sometimes forget, especially when it comes to sports. It's the beyond the sport. And when you think of baseball for yourself, you already have talked about where it taught you to be a better person, where the getting throwing things and getting pissed off and having to control those type of things. How does that help you in the classroom and being a better student as well?
I think it helps with the pressure aspect of I got a big test coming up. I got a paper to do. I think being able to do those things freely and being able to not having to worry about, oh, I'm gonna do bad. Oh, I'm gonna do bad. Like I think it helps me a lot with my grades and improving my education.
When you look at your position, is there a position that you wish you could have played, whether you were righty or lefty, that you didn't get to play?
I don't know why. I was always opposed to catching. It looks really fun. The only thing that scares me is when they swing the bat.
Well, see, my son, he played for the longest for, I mean, you probably know Nick Riggs
Hmm.
out there at Omaha. When we were 9, they had to have a catcher's thumb cover because of Nick's left-handed pitching. Just straight got his thumb, like pretty much knocking it back. That's what people don't know about lefties when they're pitching. And then if you're a right-handed catcher, you could really hurt that thumb. When you think of like even your pitching style and what was the adversity that you were able to get over when it came to pitching and that you're now able to use because you don't have to utilize it for the pitching part of your baseball game?
Definitely just being tough and being able to go out there and go get outs. Go face a tough batter and go get them out. That's something I've really uh applied to my hitting and saying, "Oh, I got a good arm. I'm gonna go get a base hit off him."
Of course, when it comes to this senior season and what you're going to do, what's some of the goals that you put set for yourself and what's the team's motto? What's going to be different this year than last year for you guys?
Last year we came up real short. We didn't even go to state. So I think this year we're gonna be trying to be just dominant. We were really inexperienced, I would say. We had a bunch of juniors, very little seniors. So I think we had a bunch of seniors. All those juniors got a bunch of varsity time. So I think being able to know from what happened last year, we're able to, okay, we can't let this happen again. We're gonna do this and this differently.
Is there a team motto or a team saying that you guys are doing now?
We haven't came up with one yet, but we'll get around to that.
When do you guys start, or what's all been going on over the winter to prepare you guys self for the spring ball?
We have weights after school every day, and then coming up we'll have 5 a.m. workouts, which will be just great.
Nothing
Personally,
wrong
I'm not
with
a
getting
fan,
that.
but
Yeah, get in there and get it done. Stop waiting for it. When you think of what everything that you've been doing for Nebraska or the vision that they have for you, what do you have to work on this year to make sure that you're ready for that next step?
definitely just getting my body right, getting my conditioning up, because if I'm not, because all those guys are well conditioned, well, their bodies are all right. If I'm not, I'm gonna get left behind.
You talked about weightlifting. When did you finally start taking weightlifting serious? I think for baseball players, it's probably the one most underutilized tool in their toolbox until they really start going hard.
You know, I started when I was 13, and my dad was a ex powerlifter, so having him around really helped me excel, really helped me get stronger. And we all lifted together. Me, K, Jason, Ben, Tyson Terry was there, a couple other guys. We're all getting and they're working harder, and it all really helped us grow and excel from being able to hit the ball to the wall to hitting it over the fence.
When you talk about, having other great athletes around you, and I say great in the way of they have done their part in high school to show that they are to be who they are. And you look across the way and you have your cousins, and you have like the guys like Tyson and all them. What does it mean for you seeing those 25s and 24s really starting to live their dreams? And then you're like, I could follow in those footsteps.
It's inspiring. It's like, wow. I watching Cade going out there and wrestling against Oklahoma State. It's like, wow, I want to go out and be on a stage like that. It's inspiring. It helps me. It's motivating.
You, of course, you've been around the game of ball for a long time. When you look at all the players across the way, who do you look up to for athletes in college or out of college that kind of really inspire you to look at the way that you look at your game?
I would say probably my cousins. Those two both are really, really good at what they do, and they're really great at what they really help me with being able to be who I am and be really dominant and be the best player I can be.
When you think of Nebraska coming up and you're finishing your senior year here, what's Charlie Ziola going to be remembered for at Creighton Prep?
I would say someone who try to be kind to everyone. I try to be nice to everyone, teachers, staff, students. So I try to at least get everyone to have a smile on their face, or if they're having a bad day, I try to help them out.
What's the with your warm-ups? What's the music that you play in your ears? What's in the headphones for you?
Typically I got some rap going, but I early on I'll mix up a little bit of Spanish music in there too, get a little Latin music in there.
Okay, all right. I'm a DJ, so I get to play it all. I love all the music, and Latin's one that I think is slept on. I think people don't understand. You're gonna move as soon as you hear a song. You're gonna move. It's not gonna keep you stopping. Now, of course, in the weight room, your dad's got to at least probably have you listen to metal. Come on now, you can't go in the weight room and listen to hip hop. If your
We
dad was a power lifter, come on.
funny well when we started out he would only listen to Tupac, so that's
Okay,
what we only listened to.
okay, yeah, that's a little different there. That ain't listen to the slurred rap and all
Yeah.
that stuff that's out now. I got you then. That talks a little bit there. When you think of these, this preparing, are you going to do Legion Ball with the boys one more time? What's kind of your plans ending Creighton Prep and moving on to the next level?
I'm pretty sure Nebraska's gonna have me go play somewhere. I'm not sure yet, but I think it'll be somewhere either in Minnesota or Kansas.
So you'll get to go out, you'll go play, and then what's kind of your timeline? What do you feel right now, and what do you feel could be in the future for you?
So probably just going going out playing summer ball and then probably going straight into Lincoln, go start training with the team
You
in
of
the
course see
summer.
you see some other athletes out there like you got Tyson Lewis, you got Kale Fountain, and you see those that are starting to make those jumps and showing that it can happen from you guys. What do you think separates these athletes that can do stuff like that at that high of a level?
I think it's their determination. I think they're gonna do what other people don't want to do. I think they're gonna take extra time and master their craft rather than just going over the motions or just glossing over things.
Have you had any time that you've kind of been starstruck being around all these? I mean, you're going amongst athletes that want it all, and you're seeing people that most people can't get to. Have you had a star moment where you're like, I can't believe that's so and so right there?
Not really because I've been around a bunch of really good players since I was a young kid. So it's always been like I'm one of the guys. I'm one of the people in this.
You're one of the numbers there. When you look, at all your travel and you think of all these, where do you think the toughest ball players are coming from? Is it the South because they have the most time outside? What are you thinking?
I think definitely the South. I think those guys being able to play year round and taking advantage of being able to be out in the sun every day, unlike us where we got to be dealing with this 10-degree weather. I think it's a bit of a it gets in the way. But those guys being able to train every day, outside, train, play more baseball. We don't get to play as much baseball as they do. So I think like Florida, Georgia, those places are probably the best places.
Of course, you see how in college there's transfer portals. There's all these things that are possibly changing your future, not you personally, but the people around you. How do you feel like yourself is going to control the best that you can control when it comes to NIL and transfer portal, teammates, stuff like that? What do you feel, or have you even thought that far ahead of the things that you have to think for a teammate that could be someone that's real close to you, and now all of a sudden they got to do obviously what's best for them because in high school you can't just switch easily, but in college it's obviously changed a little bit.
I really just gonna focus on doing the best for me. So if I gotta train more, if I gotta do more, that's what I'm gonna do. Uh, Transfer portal is really confusing. NIL is really confusing. So it's all just a learning curve.
Now, of course, you've had your resources, and what do you think is the thing that you have to increase for yourself this next year? Is it more of one thing over another? Is it just mental part? What do you think you got to push harder this next year for yourself?
I think it's a little bit of everything, but I'd say mostly testing my body and seeing how far I can go. Definitely improving my endurance, improving my stamina on a lot of things, being able to go the distance or go test the limits on everything.
What's your ultimate goal for yourself? What have you kind of seen yourself being able to do? And what I mean by that is, you know, you've seen that you've brought up your pitching or your hitting. You've seen that you've brought in the fielding. What is your goal this year that you've put out there to say, I'm going to accomplish this? Is there a record? Is there anything to leave your mark at Creighton?
I want to be one of the top guys, one of the top hitters in the state. That's one thing I'm really gunning for. If I get a record of some sort, that'll be really one of my big accomplishments. But I'm not going for anything particularly, just more just dominance and being the best player I can be.
If you can hit at any position in a lineup, where does Charlie want to be?
Typically, two or three. I like being up early. I think two is mostly comfortable. That's where I've hit most of my high school career. So that's just what I'm used to, and that's what I really like.
In the outfield, which is the position that you really enjoy over the others?
I like all of them, but I mean, I think center is probably the best one because you can cover the most ground and kind of take control of the outfield.
What's one of the coolest fields that you've been able to play on to date?
I think the coolest field I've ever been able to play on was Charles Schwab. That place was wow. That place is bigger than you really think it is.
And when you got that experience, what was your first thought going out on the same field that Creighton Blue Jays get to go out, College World Series gets to go out? What was that like for you?
It made me think I want to play on here more. I want to go on to bigger things and play here more because it's one of the most. I mean, seeing that stadium packed with however many it holds, I want to see that full. I want to play in a stadium full of people at Charles Schwab.
So of course, I've always asked people this. If you have to think about it, and you're Creighton University, and you get to play on the College World Series field all the time, do you think that takes away any of your drive to make it there? Or do you think I mean, that's obviously probably based off person, but if that was you, would that change the way you play at all?
No, I think well since they don't. I don't. I haven't been to many Creighton games, but I know they don't have seats out in the outfield. They don't let people sit out there. I'd want to be there. Be like, I want to see everyone. I want to see those outfield seats filled. I want to see this place packed, and I want to play on it.
Oh, I like that. That's a good change there. I like just thinking of the pack because it's like, but I know they're going to get their own stadium. They have that coming up or their own field. So I just I just always thought like if you already played it, do you still get the same fire burning inside to go, I got to get back there. And I'm not saying it like in a bad way, like, oh, these players don't want it. It's just you're there. But when you look at Nebraska, you look at their trajectory, what have you noticed that is the really good thing that you like of what Coach Bolt and them are doing down there?
I really like that they don't ever give up. Like last year, they were kind of rocky up until the Big Ten tournament, and then a switch. They flipped the switch and they were unbeatable that whole tournament. And I really think that just comes down to a lot of hard work, and they prioritize that.
What do you think is one thing? I mean, are you around the team enough to know what coaches setting for goals, like what their next, this year they're looking to accomplish? Obviously, we all know circled is College World Series, right? But are you that involved with the team with not being there, or is it something where you'll get more when you get down there?
It's something where I'll get more when I get down there, but having some insider information like from Jace also helps a lot, and it helps me like prepare for what they're expecting from me and what they want to do.
Expectations. How do you keep yourself even kill when it comes to that and know that these are the things that you have to put together in order to be the athlete you want to be?
I look at it more as a gift rather than like a curse. I think it's, I think, oh, I'm like, oh wow, I'm expected to do all this. I get to go do that instead of I have to. I get to go do that, or I'm able to exceed those. I really want to just exceed those expectations.
Is there anything that you look back and I wouldn't say you sacrifice because most players at your level don't consider it that, but what's some sacrifices you've had to make to this date to be Charlie Ziola in 2025 that some people should look at themselves and hopefully help themselves if they want to be that D1 athlete?
I think it's being able to stay out at the facility longer and get those swings in more when it's 10, 11 o'clock at night, or really doing the same thing while studying video, or throwing a bullpen, those type of things that will help you exceed or having an understanding of your flaws and needing to improve upon them.
We'll get you out of here kind of on this where what is it that Nebraska's getting with Charlie Ziola in 2025 and what is your education part that you're also looking to at least go for and achieve while you're in college? What's your degree that you're looking to do?
I want to get a finance degree. I want to go work for my dad.
And then as far as what was woo and then as far as what is Nebraska getting with Charlie Ziola?
I think they're gonna get someone who's gonna do whatever it takes to help them win. Be there, be there supporting, hopefully lead, and just play the role that I gotta play. And work as hard as I can and do whatever I can to be the best player.
Well, Charlie, I greatly appreciate your time. I appreciate your story and I also appreciate you just being honest with hopefully we always just try to find one athlete or one parent who might be just struggling to get over that hump. It's not easy. It's something that every athlete, no matter the level, if you're taking that jump to go to play in college, you're taking a 3% jump. You're going to D1, you're up in the upper 1%. It's not easy. It's a lot of stress. It's a lot of anxiety that could come. But if you listen to some of these athletes, and Charlie, I appreciate you talking about it, it's about trying to always do the best that you can every time and do reps that people don't want to do. I think Charlie could agree that a lot of it is when people don't see you doing what you're doing, you're getting better because it isn't all about all these highlight videos and all these things that you have to post about. It's the stuff that you don't post about that your results are coming from those things. And I think, Charlie, you got a great career coming up here for Nebraska. We greatly appreciate your time And good luck to Creighton Prep, man. Good luck getting to state and showing that you guys are going to be on the map before you head out of school.
Thank you so much.
For your time, man.
Thank
You
you.
have yourself a good new year, and we appreciate all those who check out, like, follow, share. Remember, you can find these series on characterchronicles.com. That's right, a Husker. Characterchronicles.com always has these episodes. And then, of course, the StreamYard is brought to you by your Omaha Beef, which is your NAL League football team here in Omaha, looking to get 2026 better. Make sure to check us out Thursday night's Primetime Huddle, as we'll see you.
The standard is the standard. We set the standard.